Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining us here on the Southern California Anger Management Juvenile Justice Podcast. Today, I'm happy to have Lee Wilborn here, who will be joining me. How are you today, Lee?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much again for joining me and being a part of this podcast. Southern California Anger Management. We are an anger management company in Southern California. We offer anger management. We offer parenting classes. We offer emotional intelligence training to juveniles and adults. So our goal is just simply to try to make a difference in our community and to try to help those who found themselves needing our services. And so that's enough about us and what we do. I want this all to be about my guests. And so I'm so happy today to have Lee. Lee, again, was gracious enough to accept this opportunity to come in and be a part of this podcast. So, Lee, I'm just so happy and thankful. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Lee, where you are, and tell us a bit about your company.
Yeah, so Lee Wilborn, here in North Carolina. Went to NC State, got my political science degree from there. And I represent Lex Loci Labs. What we've done is we've revolutionized pre-arrest diversion with software.
Okay, wonderful. And so, what? Tell us a little bit about how you got started with the company and how you got into this this juvenile justice and adult diversion program.
Well, how it all started was we have a 33-year prosecuting attorney that's one of our founders. Another founder is a former assistant attorney general. They've had over 50 years of experience in the criminal justice field and was just really fed up with the constant revolving door, the disparities. Again, it really affects people of color a lot. When it comes to the criminal justice system, and they was just really fed up with it. And one of their colleagues that was the district attorney in Orange County, North Carolina, was running a diversion program. And like most programs that are out there, using pen and paper or Excel spreadsheets, and they just wanted to come up with something better. So what our founders did is they partnered with a software company and came up with pre-arrest diversion software, and it's really cutting edge. To give you a little bit of stats of what our software has done, in Orange County, they were in 2018, or from 2016 to 2018, they were roughly about entering 50 participants a year.
Okay.
And that's where they were maxed out at without having to hire more people. They had a 92% success rate for graduation, but the recidivism was 12%. So they were reoffending within 6 months at a 12% rate. And, that's average across the board when it comes to these diversion programs.
Right.
But what we found out was after they used our software for 1 year, this is where it gets amazing. They were able to increase to 93 participants, and they still have room to grow because our software is running everything for them. They went to 100% success rate, and their recidivism dropped to 0, which is amazing. And and it was able to save tax dollars of just the jail side. This isn't looking into, there's an average of about $5,000 per person that's lost in tax revenue with people that carry criminal records. But just the jailhouse savings alone saved Orange County almost $351,000.
Well, I'm sure no one was complaining about saving $351,000.
No, not at all.
Because those are funds that can be reinvested elsewhere within the community into other programs, community-based programs, which seems to be, the theme of the day is to reinvest back into the community, and particularly in the Black and brown communities where we see, the high numbers of individuals who've been incarcerated.
And that's true. And the biggest thing for a diversion program to be successful is you have to have police buy-in.
Right.
And that's why a lot of places are very hesitant or they fail when it comes to diversion programs, is because police officers in their mind are thinking, once we turn this over, we have no control. So they think in their mind that the person gets away with a free charge.
Right.
So how we address that is we actually made a portal for the software that law enforcement gets to log into. So they can actually log in and see where this person is in the diversion program. So they don't have that misconception of, hey, this person just got away with a free, misdemeanor charge.
Right.
Also, there's a fail-safe that if the person, for some reason, doesn't complete the program or decides not to do the program, it alerts the law enforcement to let them pursue the original charges.
So does the program go to the law enforcement agencies, or is this done through the courts?
So this is pre-arrest. So here's the thing. Once a CJR, which is a court docket number, is attached to your name, that record's going to follow you forever until you either get it expunged or, just follow you around. So what we're doing is this is cloud-based software. So let me give you an example. I'm driving down the road, got an open container ticket, or got an open container, get pulled over. Police officer walks up, runs my information, sees I have an open container, and says, hey, Lee, I'm going to offer you this diversion program because I don't think that this open container should trouble you for the rest of your life.
Right.
So it takes less paperwork. They actually can go back to their car and fill out the diversion paperwork right there. It's 5 questions, basically, just basic information. And then that sends it off over to a case manager. So that ticket is never created. There's no CJR ever created to my name. So that's why I'm never put into the system.
Now that in itself is amazing that the police officers have the autonomy to go right there and to place a person in diversion immediately, as opposed to having to deal with the court, as opposed to having a person miss work, miss school or whatever the case may be. Hey, go to this diversion program, and the ability to be able to track it online. I mean, that is dynamic. I think it saves time all the way around. It saves the officers time, it saves the people time, those who've been, charged with the alleged crime. And I guess my question is, you said that the recidivism rate went down to 0. So what specifically worked, with your program as opposed to the paper program that they had previously?
And that's a great question. And that's where our software really shines. So going back to our example, so I have 48 hours to report to a case manager when that officer sends that over. When I go see that case manager, it's not just, hey, you got an open container ticket, let's look at that and move on. They ask me about housing. They ask me about work. They ask me about substance abuse. They ask me about my health. So now this person can get the 360-degree view of what led to this behavior. Because I might have just lost my job. That's why I was drinking and running down the street, because I'm upset. Or right now with the whole COVID situation, people out of work, I might have just lost my house. So that could, they can stop me from now, or I could tell them, hey, I got a really bad drug problem.
Right.
You didn't catch me. So now they can address all the underlying issues that led to the problem. And all the resources are in the software. So they can send me to counseling. They can send me to a work, like temporary workplace to help me get work. They could send me to housing assistance programs. Now they can address all the issues instead of just that one thing that they luckily caught me with.
So the programs, are these community-based programs that oversee the diversion programs, or are they through the law enforcement agencies themselves?
Yeah, so the case manager maintains the database, but it's all maintained in the system from all the resources available in the community. Now, I understand some communities like that are rural. They might have to use a neighboring community, but still now that case manager, though, has the resources, knows that those programs are available, because programs change all the time. New places come up. Somebody might shut down. So the case manager doesn't have to spend all this time trying to dig through and try to remember to turn this person in and out. It's all right there in front of them. And as soon as they build the customized, because all of our diversion programs are customized to that individual's needs based off the intake that we're just talking about. So as soon as they build that customized program and hit submit, it actually emails the information out to all the resource centers for them to let them know, hey, this person's coming. This is the kind of help they need. So everybody's on the same page.
And that was my question, because sometimes, it may be, each individual has different needs. And so you have to make sure that the program is tailored to that individual's specific needs, because like you said, it may be a dad who he's been a great guy his entire life. And hey, he went out, had a DUI, or he went out, he got into a bar fight or something to that effect, as opposed to the, habitual criminal who's always in trouble, who's always causing problems. We can't deal with that dad the same way we deal with that habitual criminal, because there are two completely different, levels and playing fields in life.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And again, law enforcement has really embraced this, because we saw what happened last year. Law enforcement, it's an all-time low when it comes to the communities right now.
Right.
So when I talk to law enforcement now and I tell them about the software and that they have these portals and all in it, they all tell me, Lee, we would love to be able to go out and say, hey, man, you messed up. Let me help you, instead of, hey, let me drag you to jail. Let me pull you out of your family. Let me ruin your life by sending you to court. Times are tough already. Last thing you need is court charges, lawyer bills, and everything else to pile up. Now, let's not just look at the adult side of it. Let's think about a college student.
Right.
Say you did everything right in high school. You got these scholarships to go to college. Well, I'm sure neither one of us ever did anything stupid in college.
No, not me.
But if you get caught, let's say an open container, once again, you got an open container, you could lose that scholarship.
Easy.
This prevents that from ever becoming that ticket, so you won't lose your scholarships.
And in general, how long are the programs that the attendees have to attend?
So all of them are different. Again, it's based off of need. So they're anywhere from 30 to 90 days, but our software will allow you to extend it out. So let's say we send somebody off for a mental health evaluation or an anger management. Let's say an anger management because some kind of maybe assault or something happened.
Right.
And they go off for an assessment. The assessment comes back saying, hey, this person needs more help. They can actually change the program right there in it without having to add more stuff. They can go into that person's name, click on the link, and say, okay, well, let's give them anger management classes for 4 hours or 8 hours, whatever the requirement may be. So they can always change this up. Now, on the program manager side, what's really cool is part of the analytics that we track is we're tracking successful programs.
Right.
So let's say program A, we send 10 people over to with an 80% success rate. Program B is the same program, but we're sending the same 10 people, but only 20% success rate.
Right.
So now that case manager can say, okay, well, these programs aren't working. Let's keep sending people to the programs that are working, because every resource is going to run things differently. Right. So we need to be able to track that as well, because we can't always just say, hey, this person is just a bad person. He got in trouble. So he could
be the program. Right. Right.
There's other variables that could be, the problem as well. So we're tracking that as well.
Oh, man. I mean, believe me, I know, in the anger management business, companies are a dime a dozen everywhere. And so what we try to do is to be a company that says, no, listen, when you come here, we're going to give you the best quality training, the best, curriculum in the business, because we're in business to help. I mean, we're in business to really help you turn your life around. And you see, sometimes people go to a program and like you said, okay, I went over here to XYZ program and they didn't really get the training that they need. So what happens? They get in trouble again. So now you just cost yourself more time. You cost yourself more money. You cost yourself more effort, more discomfort, because, you weren't in a program that gave you the best. And so that is important. That any program out there that are dealing with, the justice system, that they offer quality services to their clients, because at the end of the day, it may not catch up to you now, but at some point in time, someone's going to say, hey, wait a minute, now we've sent you all these clients and everybody's getting in trouble again. It can't be the clients. It's got to be whatever it is that you have going on over at your program.
And that's so true, but the problem is nobody's tracking this data.
Right, right.
We need that raw evidence, and again, So we have a stakeholders portal. So like a DA or any other stakeholders that want all this information, they can only see the analytics in it. We have the case manager portal that gets full functionality, that sees, all the intake information. Then we have the police portal that just sees the analytics and tracks the person. It just tells you where they are. It doesn't let them see, we don't want the law enforcement to see that this guy said, hey, I have a bad cocaine problem, because we don't want to have, a prejudice against him saying, oh, I'm going to start tracking this person.
Right.
So we limit what other people can see, but they still have these analytics, and also law enforcement can look at it and say, okay, well, look, we're having tons of trespassing or all these different charges. They can see all the charges that are going in. They can shift their focus on what is really needed in their community.
Right.
The program manager can see how many programs am I assigning, what programs are being successful. They can change at any time. So this is all very fluid. It's not just a set in stone. Hey, you send them here. We can always pivot to do what's really important, and that's getting the people the help they need.
So walk me through if, for instance, I was down there in North Carolina and I got pulled over, DUI. I had open container in my car. Walk me through the process of, from being assigned to your program to the initial meeting with the case manager, and then the initial meeting with the community-based organization where I'd be, conducting my services.
Yeah. So that's a great idea. So like what we were talking about earlier. So Ricky's driving down the street, blue lights behind him come on.
Right.
He's pulled over. Police officer walks up. Yeah. Right. Police officer walks up, license, registration. It's going to happen no matter what if you get pulled over. So he's going to go back. He's going to run your information.
Yeah.
They're going to do that with any kind of stop.
Right.
So he's going to pull you up and say, okay, well, this guy doesn't have any problems.
Right.
And then he gets to make the distinction. Do I give him a diversion program or do I write him a ticket? Let's say he goes down the diversion route. So he logs into our software right there on his computer.
Right.
He fills out just name, information, what the charge would be, hits send, sends it over to the case manager, walks back up to you and says, hey, look, Ricky, you're a good guy. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I'm giving you a break. I'm going to let you go through a diversion program. And he can actually print up the paperwork right there in his car too, hands you the paperwork and says, hey, report here within 48 hours.
Right.
So Ricky says, hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Right.
You go and meet with the case manager 48 hours later. Now, right now with telehealth, you could use telehealth as well. They could do it as a Zoom meeting. So you're sitting down in front of your case manager. Case manager goes, oh, Ricky, it looks like you got to have an open container ticket. Let's go through a few things here. So how's your housing? And there's several questions that will go along with that. Well, what's your highest level of education? Let's say Ricky says, I never graduated high school.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's put that down. And then, so how are things at home? Oh, well, I don't really have a stable home right now, or I just lost my job. Whatever your situations are, it has blanks for them to fill all this in.
Right.
So at the end of it, it restates all this stuff in front of the case manager, so the case manager can say, well, you know what, Ricky, we have a partnership with the community college here. We can get you the GED for free. You said that your housing is not very stable. We have some housing assistant programs here that we can put you in contact with them. Maybe you just lost your job. That's why you have that open container. We have some employment assistance around here. We can put you in with them as well. Now, for your open container ticket, we do, require some community service and an alcohol assessment class. So we'll add that to it as well. And then you get to decide yes or no if you want to do it. You agreed, and then
I go to court.
No, you never go to court. Your only meeting is with this case manager.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no court ever involved unless you
no, but I'm saying right. So if the client says no, I don't want to participate. Then now the client has to go to court to deal with that charge.
Yeah, the original charges will be brought against that person.
Right. So the best thing to do is just to say, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and do this community service and do whatever it is that, needs to be done in order to keep your record clean. Because the reality is in today's day, especially in 2021, I was getting ready to say 2020. It's like, wow, it's 2021. It's important to, you want to keep your record as clean and your nose as clean as possible because, jobs are scarce. And so the competition is high. And so it seems to me that a program of this magnitude, it would be great to be implemented because you have an option. Because you're already at probably one of the worst points in your life. Like, man, I got pulled over with the open container or whatever the case may be. So now I have an opportunity to not have this thing follow me, but I have to put a little work in order to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Right. So you're not getting away with a free charge. And that's why, again, law enforcement buys into this because they know that you're not just getting away with a free charge. Now, you could say, hey, yeah, no, I don't really care about, the housing assistance or something like that. Now, you're going to have to do what the original charge is for, because we're not going to, no county is going to let you just get away with it. You could deny some services, but you're still going to have to do that core, treatment or assessment or in the community service that's required to satisfy that open container. They're just able to give you all the other assistance and put you in contact with the right people.
So how are the offenders, I guess we would say, how are they assessed through the program?
So that's what the case managers, so the DAs get together with the case managers and say, okay, well, for an open container ticket, we require X number of hours of community service and an assessment. So that's the bare minimum that they have to do. So each offense that they allow for diversion has a bare minimum of what the DA sets.
Right.
The other stuff is just, hey, let me help you. And most people nowadays, they want the help. They just don't know where to go.
Right.
And if you're sitting with this case manager is sitting here saying, look, man, I can change your life at the same time with dealing with this and getting rid of this little hiccup. Are you going to say yes or no?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
a person that's going to say no is the one that's going to become in the system regardless.
Right, and they're going to cycle through, and sometimes, maybe I could beat the system, and so it happens. You have some like that, and I'm thinking for juveniles, this would definitely be. Because juveniles deserve that second chance, and sometimes a third chance, and their fourth chance, and their fifth chance, at getting it right. Because I mean, again, it goes into the various factors of their lives. What are they dealing with? What's the home life like? What's the education life like? What is the mental health life like? What is the physical health like? There's so many various factors that goes into why people do what they do. And in particular, juveniles, they need that extra help, that extra hand, and not just, we're going to lock you up immediately. They need a diversion program to say, hey, this is what you need to do. We know you stole something out of, CVS, but hey, here's what we're going to put you in this program to teach you some things so that you don't make the same mistake again and offend in the community.
That's very true. And our software, since we have the partnership with the software, we developed the software. What Orange County was originally going to do was they were going to have a juvenile portion to the software and then an adult portion. Well, North Carolina changed the law where juveniles are charged as adults at 16.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of shift on them, but we could separate the two. Like, so say California doesn't do that. Well, we could have it where there's a juvenile portion for the juveniles and then there's adult portion. And you can always search, hey, this person went through a juvenile program. Do we want to allow them into an adult program? Are they becoming a habitual, just using our programs? So we have different fail safes and search features to prevent that from happening. As well.
Now, is there so when a person comes to the program, are they responsible for any fees in the program, or is it paid through the referring agency, or how is it paid for? How are they paying for the programs that they have to go to?
So there's several different options. There's an affidavit for your income, and also if you're indigent, you don't have the funds. You fill out a form, and either the county usually covers it, or a lot of these resource programs that are out there have things for people without money. So they'll actually cover themselves, because a lot of them have nonprofits. They get donations, so they'll cover on their own. Now, if you're okay or well-to-do, or you have a job, then you're the one liable for it on your own. So there's no way that somebody's saying, hey, I'm poor, so I'm not going to get to qualify for this program. There's ways that we're going to get you qualified.
Right.
Done.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We want to make sure that people, hey, they have the opportunity, the ability to go through the program and say, hey, we're going to work with you to figure out a way to get you through this program because, hey, we don't want this on your record because you qualify for the program based upon your experience, based upon your background, and based upon what we know about you, based upon what you've reported. And I think that people would want to take advantage of it, like you said, especially if you have a job. I don't want a DUI on my record, and I'm a truck driver, and I can put you out of business in a heartbeat, or whatever it is on your record. And I have two candidates here. Both of them have the same education. Both of them have the same qualities. The only difference is you have this DUI on your record, and this person doesn't. Obviously, we have to go with the person who doesn't.
Right. And also, what we talked about at the very beginning, when a county's saving, $351,000, they can reinvest that money into helping people that don't have the money to get the right programs as well. So that's what Orange County has done is they've developed kind of a fund for this. So if for some reason they didn't qualify for the free resources provided by the resource places, they help fund this with the savings that they're making, but that they're having with not using the jails. Because the long term, we can't think just short term of spending. Okay, well, we spent $5,000 on this person to get them, all the help that they needed. Well, that would be recuperated in just 1 year of tax that person has spent back into that community because they do have a job and they are, buying stuff. So they recoup that money right back in a different way.
Right.
So really not that they're reinvesting back into their people, which reinvests into the community, which makes the whole community grow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Lee, how can people get more information about, get in contact with you and find out more information about your company, Lex Loki Labs?
So my email is lee.welborn@lexlocilabs.com. You can also check out our website, lexlocilabs.com. Also my LinkedIn. You can see me on there. I have a webinar that I'm about to host on February 24th, where I'm actually going to do a full demonstration and talk about the different diversion programs and that are out there and the pros and cons of each one that are available. So love to have you come join in on that webinar as well, or you can always send me an email or give me a phone call, and we'd be love to show you how our diversion program can help any community out there.
Absolutely. Well, we posted your information there here on the screen. Feel free to contact Lee directly. Give him a call. Give his company a call. They have a dynamic program, it seems, that's doing some wonderful work down in North Carolina. And, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, Lee, to speak with me. And I say this in every video, but I'll keep stressing it. LinkedIn has been amazing. That's how Lee and I connected as well, via LinkedIn. And, like minds, trying to make a difference, in this juvenile justice system, and just connecting and trying to do some wonderful things. So Lee, I appreciate you taking some time coming on, speaking with me. Tell us again when your webinar is.
February 24th. It's on my LinkedIn. I'll share it again.
Okay.
It's out there. Ricky, I saw that you saw it on there.
Yes, sir.
If you'd love to share it, I'd appreciate it. And
yes, sir. We'll do.
The biggest thing here is we got to reinvest in the people. We got to bridge that gap between law enforcement and communities once again. And our software will really help with that. We'll really start cutting out of throwing people in the criminal justice system. And Ricky, I didn't tell you this, but we actually have a drug court treatment software as well that's been making some big headlines. So that's something that we can have another conversation about another time.
Absolutely. Let's schedule that so we can talk, because that's the big thing right now. Treatment for our drug abusers. We have to get them treatment, for what they need, because it's a disease, and so we want to help them. So we can get together offline and figure out a date to get that going to talk about the drug court program. And again, I appreciate it. It's nice and chilly here in Southern California. It's about 52 degrees. I think Lee told me it's 19 back there. So, I think I'll take Southern California's weather over North Carolina's any day of the week. So again, Lee Wilborn, thanks again. Let me post your info on here so folks can get in contact with you. Feel free to send Lee an email. You guys can call him. There's his number on the screen. And then there is the website to his company. Feel free to take a look at it and all the programs and services that Lee and his company offers. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate your time as well for spending time with Southern California Anger Management in this webinar. Lee, thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.